Hello guys, welcome to the channel once more. Today we will be looking at a 2019 but still brand new Royal Enfield Himalayan and how to proceed with your delivery inspection, either when you're picking it up from the dealership or if it's getting delivered to you at home because of the COVID-19. So first off, you just have to make sure you take a general look at the bike, make sure everything is there. It's got the 2 tires, it's got an engine, obviously no major signs of damage. And then you check your keys. You will be supplied 2 keys, and they actually look quite nice. So that's what the keys look like. Okay, the next thing you check your engine oil, and the way you do it, you get the bike level like it's sitting right now, and then you check your engine oil right here. You can see 2 little marks. The top one is the full, and the lower one means that's the low level. So you should have some oil in there. If you have the bike leaning on the side stand, then you might not see any oil through this window. So get the bike level, and then you check the oil. The next thing you're gonna look for, you make sure your tires are inflated. The rear tire takes 32 psi and the front about 25 psi. If you plan on carrying somebody on the bike, then you can bump the rear tire to about 34 to 35 psi. Next thing you're gonna check, you check your fuel. Oops, it's getting hot. You can see I got some gas in there. It's totally full right now. And the way you shut your gas tank, you push it down and you press, and the key turns. If you try to force the key, you will break it in there. So that's how you close your tank. The bike is actually air cooled, and the oil has an additional cooler right here on the side. So you look at the oil cooler, make sure nothing is leaking, nothing looks out of place. The next thing you will check, you come here, the keys are the same for the ignition, the tank, and the storage area, which is a very good thing. That way you're not storing, moving around with a whole bunch of keys for the same bike. So the next thing we're gonna look at will be the spare tool kit, which would be underneath your seat. I haven't opened this yet, but that's the tool kit right there. And then you can go ahead, proceed to lift this up, and you can see that's where your battery is located. If you had to charge the battery, you could do it right there. Your fuse box, in case you blow a fuse, it's gonna be right here, and those are your fuses. Get that in place. All right, so let's continue. We're done with the first part. We've looked at the fluids and everything that could be changed before you even fire up the bike for the first time. Then this guy goes in that way first, then you press down, and you're done. We saw the spark plug on that side. Let me move over. Spark plug is right there, and here you have, I think that should be the engine temperature sensor, or it could be the oil pressure sensor, I'm not sure, but it's a sensor right there. Right there you have your oxygen sensor, And probably, I don't know, I'm not sure, but it could be right there. You have your little catalytic converter. This is a Bharat stage 4 compliant, so it's a BS4. Already they have the BS6, which are Euro 6 compliant. You have right here your ABS sensor, and what it does is it looks at these little holes, and you can tell if the wheel is turning. If it stops turning, then it releases the brake, and that way you don't lock up the brakes. On the BS6 compliant ones, you can actually turn off the ABS, but if you do that, you only turn off the ABS in the rear. The front still keeps going. And what that would do is it prevents you from rolling over on the bike. For the US market, tires are supplied by Pirelli, and they are Pirelli MT60. Up front, it's 21 inches, and in the back, I believe it's 18 inches. Let's take a look here real quick. Inches, 120, 90, 17, and 90, 90, 21. So in the back also you have your ABS sensor. You can see the wire, how it's routed back the caliper, and you see where you have the little sensor right there for the ABS. In the rear you have a monoshock, and the tank holds 15 liters, sorry, 15 liters, and the reserve light will come on when you're down to 5.5 liters. Of course, here you have your start switch, engine run, kill switch. There you have the reservoir for the front brake, turn signals, and you cancel by pressing in, horn. And here by default you can't turn off the light. It's either high beam or low beam, and if you're on low beam, you can flash your high beam by doing that. Press that yellow button. You also have your choke. When starting out cold, even though the bike is injected, it has fuel injection, you can do that just to reaching up and reach the fuel air mixture, and it helps the bike to start up and warm up faster. For the instrument cluster, you have your speedometer right there, marked in kilometers per hour on the inside and miles per hour on the outside. And then on the right side you have your tachometer. Below that you have your compass, and to the left your fuel gauge. It also has, on the left you can see your gear indicator. Tells you what gear you have engaged right now. I'm in neutral. Above that you have the clock, and then you have your trip A, trip B, and then trip F. F comes on when you are under 5 liters of fuel left in the tank, and that's just to alert you that you should start looking for fuel. It also has the outside air temperature, and if you press and hold the mode button for 10 seconds, it switches between Fahrenheit and centigrade. Here you have your check engine light, battery, ABS. The ABS light goes off after you're going about 7 miles per hour. And then above there you have your turn indicators, cancel, and your high beam indicator also right there. So pretty much basic bike, very utilitarian, nothing too fancy, and those are the things to check when you picking up your bike for the first time or you're having it delivered for the first time. If there's anything I missed that you think somebody getting this bike for the first time should check, go ahead and let me know. That's the horn right there. It's pretty loud. Right, let's see if we can get it started. And it's not a loud bike by any means. It's a very acceptable level of sound, and doesn't shake very much. The vibrations are very minimal, almost negligible. You wouldn't think you're riding a single, but it is definitely well balanced. 411cc, that's the size of the engine. All new design from the ground up, released in 2015. The BS4 for the Indian market, like I said before, was carbureted, but once they transitioned to BS6, then they moved on to fuel injection. BS6 standards came into effect April 1st, 2020. And there's a possibility it might have been deferred a little bit for the COVID virus. But I think by the end of August, it should be in effect 100%. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think about the bike.